English with deck. So today I was trying to think all day, what kind of episode or episodes should I record today? And I was really umming and ahhing, I was like, maybe a linguistic episode, something talking about how English works or idioms or something along those lines. And it just didn't click today. So I thought, okay, how about my general day? But honestly, I talk about that a lot, and yeah. I mean, stuff happened today, but yeah, I didn't click today. It didn't feel right. So then I was like, well, what about family stuff? What about something in the news? And again, it just didn't feel right. And hey, maybe it's the weather, changing again, so my mind is a bit restless. I don't know. But you know what? I decided to sort of just talk about me for once. I talk a lot about myself. As a teacher, you do that. But I thought I've told you guys a bit before, about me, but in very brief detail. So you know what I decided? Well, on the days when I just can't find the thing I want to talk about for the podcast, well, I'm going to talk about myself. I mean, it's a short topic. There's a little bit to talk about. Nothing too exciting, but yeah, I can talk about me. Now, like I said, I have talked about myself and my history in the past, but it was quite rushed, and I figured this time and the following times I can sort of talk in more detail. So I figured, well, I'll start about my time in England for this episode because it's well good to know, I guess. So if you're not interested, feel free to turn off now. Nah. Well, I was born in the north of England in a city called Leeds, but I didn't live there very long. Actually, quite quickly, we moved down to the south of England. I think we moved to Bristol quite early. And we moved around a lot as kids. It was, yeah, it was interesting. I definitely developed a lot of strong social skills. Um, but then around high school, we moved back to the north of England, which is where I ended up staying until I left England. And life wasn't bad. I can't complain. I had a pretty good family. A little bit alternative-ish, I guess. Quite a hippie-ish father. If you're not sure what hippie is, think about, a peace and love kind of person. Lots of bright clothes, typically long hair, that kind of thing. If you're not sure, do have a look online. It's quite an interesting fashion. So yeah, my dad was quite a hippie, and my mother was a pretty, regular. I don't know, regular is not the right word. Uh, a really nice person. But yeah, it was a pretty quiet, like growing up, upbringing. Neither of my parents really drink. It was, I wouldn't say mundane, but there was nothing majorly exciting. No crazy stories of it. And then after I graduated from high school, I studied as a landscaper and a landscape designer. And I learned about landscape design through various systems, and it was good fun. And I got to work on some really interesting projects when I was in England. It was in a smallish town, and I worked with a very small company. But you know what I was thinking? I'm now 30 years old, and when I started that job, how different I was as a person. I mean, of course, but that chance of employment really shaped me into the young man that I became very quickly, and then into the adult I became. And I say that because when I started there, I would say I was so immature. At the time I thought I was the not the big I am. I wasn't looking for fights or anything, but I did think I was like, well, I was very sure of myself. And I think, yeah, I had confidence, but I was a different person, which is completely normal, of course. And yeah, I focused on lots of my work. I was used to be quite active with my social life. I'd say every weekend, different city or different activities. Uh, Lots of times at the bar, of course, or the pub. But yeah, it was a really good experience. But you know what happened? After about 6 years, 5 years maybe, of working, I really got this itch to sort of see more and to try more. You always hear about the people who go away to the far exotic places, and you want that. And the more I heard about it, the more I saw of these places, I had a yearning to get there. Now, of course, I'd been on various holidays. I'd been to various different countries in my life, but I wanted to try it by myself. So, yeah, I decided one day. I was like, well, I've got pretty far within my career here, well, reasonably so. I had a bit of money saved up, and I was in a bit of a rut. Great word here, rut. Now that rut was basically, I felt that I'd got as far as I could, but I couldn't get any further. I just felt like I wanted more, but I couldn't achieve it where I was. So you know what I did? I bought a plane ticket to New Zealand. Okay, and we will continue that next time. But for now, feel free to have a listen to this podcast as many times as you can. Because if there are words, phrases, expressions that you did not pick up the first time, I'm sure you will the second or third or even the fourth time. It's all about practice, practice, practice. All right. Well, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.